Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like, because what I'm about to share will change the way you understand women and relationships forever. Right now, I want you to pause and imagine something. The woman you desire most, the one who seems untouchable, the one who makes your chest tighten when she's around. She's not thinking about you the way you think she is. Most men go through life chasing an illusion, believing attraction is about grand gestures or flashy displays. But here's the truth that almost nobody tells you. Female desire is less about what you do externally and everything about how you make her feel internally. I want you to lean in because this will hit hard. Women are wired to respond to depth, to emotional signals, to subtle cues that reveal a man's true confidence and emotional intelligence. You could have the perfect body, the perfect wardrobe, even the perfect smile, but if you can't connect with her on a psychological level, she won't feel drawn to you in the way that matters. Attraction is not transactional, it's emotional, subconscious, and profoundly instinctual. Here's what most men never realize. Every conversation, every glance, every micro-expression you display sends a signal about your value, not just socially, but sexually, emotionally, intimately. Women are scanning for authenticity, courage, and a man who can hold emotional space for them. And no, this doesn't mean being overly sensitive or needy. It means understanding how to balance strength with empathy, presence with mystery. By the end of this video, you'll know how to activate that attraction instinctively, without trying too hard, without performing, without manipulation. You'll learn how to speak to her mind, her heart, and her body at the same time. But first, you need to understand that the game most men are playing is completely upside down. They think texting, buying, or impressing wins her over. But real attraction starts before words, before gestures. It starts in the invisible psychological currents she's feeling when she's around you. So if you've ever felt frustrated that she's not responding, that she's pulling away, or that you can't seem to make her desire you, take a deep breath. That frustration is your doorway to understanding. What I'm about to reveal is going to show you how to bypass all the confusion and unlock desire at a level most men never reach. Pay attention, because this is not just advice. It's a blueprint of female psychology, and it will change everything about the way she experiences you. Let's get real for a moment. The truth about female desire is that it's rarely about what you say, it's about what she feels in your presence. Think about the times a woman has been drawn to a man seemingly without reason. It wasn't his words, it wasn't his car, or his job title. It was the energy he carried, the unspoken signals he sent that made her feel safe, intrigued, and secretly excited all at once. This is what I want you to understand. Women are wired to respond to emotional depth, to a man's ability to remain grounded while still evoking curiosity. Many men make the mistake of trying to impress or win her approval. They over-explain, over-text, overcompensate. And what happens? They create predictability. And predictability is the death of desire. Desire thrives on subtle tension, emotional challenge, and the hint of mystery. A woman doesn't want someone she already fully understands. She wants someone who awakens her curiosity, who makes her question and feel something she can't articulate. That tension, that's the invisible chemistry that fuels attraction. Here's a critical point most men never grasp. Vulnerability is a tool, not a weakness, but it must be used carefully. Too much vulnerability too soon, and you become a mirror for her emotions rather than a source of intrigue. Too little, and you appear distant, unrelatable, emotionally cold. The balance? Sharing enough of your inner world to show depth, but keeping certain layers hidden to maintain her curiosity. Think of it as emotional choreography. When done right, she's pulled toward you almost without realizing it. Body language also speaks louder than words. The way you stand, the way you move, the way you look at her, all of these subtle cues communicate confidence, emotional control, and sexual magnetism. Women are experts at reading micro-expressions, at sensing energy, at detecting a man's internal state before he even opens his mouth. If your presence is grounded, calm, and magnetic, she'll feel it at a level that bypasses conscious thought. And that is the essence of attraction. By now, you may be thinking, This sounds complicated, but it's not. It's about understanding the invisible rules that govern desire and mastering them in a way that feels natural. It's about speaking to her subconscious, creating an emotional rhythm that pulls her closer, ignites curiosity, and keeps her engaged. If you pay attention to this, she won't just be interested. She'll be captivated, almost involuntarily drawn to your presence in a way most men will never experience. Now let's uncover something most men completely overlook: the hidden triggers that make a woman feel desire and emotional intimacy simultaneously. These are not tricks or manipulations. They're deeply rooted in female psychology, in the way her mind and body respond to a man who embodies certain invisible qualities. If you understand this, you stop guessing and start creating real attraction effortlessly. The first trigger is emotional contrast. Women are wired to feel alive when they experience contrasts in energy and emotion with a man. Calm presence juxtaposed with playful teasing, strength mixed with empathy, mystery layered with glimpses of vulnerability. Most men fail here because they are one-dimensional. They are either always on, performing, trying to impress, or they withdraw entirely. But the man who masterfully alternates these emotional currents becomes a force she can't ignore. Her mind is constantly engaged, her emotions constantly stirred, and this creates irresistible pull. The second trigger is anticipation. Women respond to the promise of experiences, both emotional and physical. When you withhold full disclosure of yourself, when you allow her to wonder about your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, you ignite a subtle craving in her subconscious. This isn't manipulation. It's about holding space for her curiosity and letting her imagination do the work. Desire grows in the space between revelation and restraint. The third trigger is feeling emotionally seen and yet intrigued. Women crave a man who acknowledges her inner world without being overwhelmed by it. If she can share her thoughts, fears, and dreams with you and feel you are truly listening, her brain releases neurochemicals associated with safety and connection. But here's the secret. If you maintain your own emotional gravity while she expresses herself, she experiences both safety and challenge. This duality is intoxicating. She feels understood, yet still drawn into the mystery of who you are. Finally, timing and pacing matter more than most men realize. Desire is cultivated, not forced. Women respond to subtle escalation, touch, eye contact, verbal rhythm, emotional cues, rather than sudden intensity. Think of it as conducting an orchestra of her senses, carefully balancing anticipation, curiosity, and intimacy. Done correctly, she experiences a magnetic pull toward you that feels natural, organic, and irresistible. Most men never grasp these triggers because they focus on tactics instead of psychology. Attraction isn't a checklist. It's a living, breathing, emotional ecosystem. When you understand these triggers and begin to embody them authentically, she won't just notice you. She'll feel something deeper, something that lingers long after you leave the room. And that lingering sensation, that's the spark of desire that most men spend a lifetime chasing in vain. Now, let's talk about the moment most men fail to master, combining emotional intimacy with sexual tension. This is the secret alchemy that turns simple attraction into something almost magnetic. Something that keeps her thinking about you long after you've gone. Most men think they have to be either charming or dominant, either sensitive or sexual, but women respond to a man who can balance both effortlessly. That balance is rare, and that rarity is precisely what makes desire so intense. Imagine this. She's sharing something vulnerable, maybe a fear or a dream she hasn't told anyone else. Most men would either change the subject, dismiss it, or overreact. But the man who creates tension and intimacy simultaneously listens fully, nods, validates, and yet maintains an inner calm that is unmistakably confident. This creates an emotional cocktail she cannot resist. She feels safe and understood, yet the pull, the sexual curiosity, remains alive. It's a magnetic contradiction. Next, let's consider touch and presence. Women are deeply attuned to energy, proximity, and subtle physical cues. A fleeting touch on her arm while making a point, a controlled pause that lets her feel your presence, or even the way you lean in just slightly while speaking. These micro moments ignite chemical reactions in her brain that no words alone can achieve. Timing is everything. Too soon, and it feels forced. Too late, and the window closes. But when you synchronize emotional depth with subtle physical cues, the attraction becomes unavoidable. Words also have power, but it's the weight behind them that matters. You don't need elaborate speeches or pickup lines. You need precision. Speak with intent, with calm authority, with nuance. Your words should mirror the rhythm of her emotions, sometimes echoing her vulnerability, other times challenging her, creating a dance she feels compelled to follow. That is how emotional intimacy deepens desire. It's the interplay between her mind, heart, and body responding simultaneously. Finally, understand this. Women are subconsciously measuring consistency and emotional gravity. She's assessing whether you are a man who can handle intensity without losing control. If you master this, you create a powerful loop of anticipation and emotional satisfaction. Every interaction leaves her thinking, imagining, and craving more, not just sexually, but emotionally. Desire is not instant, it's cultivated. And when you combine these forces correctly, she experiences a connection so profound that she feels inexplicably drawn to you, as if you have unlocked a part of her she didn't know existed. This is the invisible architecture of female attraction. It's subtle, psychological, and brutally effective. Most men will never understand it because they chase surface-level signals, never diving into the emotional and sexual chemistry that drives her subconscious. But you, if you pay attention and practice this, can become a man she can't forget, a presence that lingers long after the conversation ends. Now, we're entering the territory most men never even realize exists. The hidden psychological levers that make a woman desire you uncontrollably. These are subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, yet when wielded correctly, they trigger deep emotional and sexual pull. This is where attraction shifts from fleeting interest to an almost magnetic fixation. And the key is this: it's never about winning her. It's about activating the parts of her mind and body that are craving connection, challenge, and emotional resonance all at once. The first lever is perceived value. Women are constantly scanning for men who embody high internal value, confidence, purpose, and emotional stability. Not arrogance, not ego, but the quiet assurance that you are a man who knows his worth and holds his space. When she senses this, her subconscious labels you as someone worth investing in emotionally. This isn't about your job, money, or appearance. It's about how you occupy yourself and your life. Women are attracted to men whose internal world is compelling, who seem unshakable even when life is chaotic. The second lever is emotional mirroring. Without even realizing it, women are drawn to men who reflect their feelings in a balanced way. You want to acknowledge her emotions, validate them, but also maintain your own emotional rhythm. She needs to feel both understood and intrigued, safe yet challenged. This duality creates a tension that feels irresistible, a psychological pull that keeps her engaged on multiple levels simultaneously. Next, we have strategic unpredictability. Routine kills desire. Subtle variations in behavior, tone, and energy create intrigue and anticipation. This doesn't mean playing games. It means cultivating a sense of depth, layers, and mystery. She begins to wonder what you're thinking, what you'll do next, and the curiosity fuels attraction in a way no words alone can. Finally, there is the power of absence and presence. Women desire a man who can be fully present in her life, but who also maintains his independence. When you are not overly available, when your presence feels intentional rather than habitual, she begins to value it subconsciously. Desire escalates when she perceives that your attention is selective, meaningful, and earned. Combine these levers: perceived value, emotional mirroring, strategic unpredictability, and intentional presence, and you create a psychological architecture that makes her desire you on a level few men ever achieve. She isn't just interested, she's drawn into an emotional vortex where your presence triggers anticipation, curiosity, and longing. And the most powerful part, she feels it as a natural pull, not a forced attraction. Master these levers, and you'll understand why some men are unforgettable, while others fade into the background, no matter how hard they try. Now, we arrive at the final truth most men never understand. Sustaining desire while deepening emotional intimacy is not about grand gestures or constant effort. It's about mastery of your presence, emotional consistency, and the subtle art of escalation. Most men think once attraction is sparked, it will naturally last. That's wrong. Desire without depth fades. Emotional connection without tension fades. The men who leave a lasting impression are the ones who combine both with precision, day after day. First, understand that emotional consistency is magnetic. Women are drawn to men whose emotions are stable yet expressive. You don't overreact to her moods or withdraw at the first sign of challenge. Instead, you provide a steady anchor, someone she can rely on, while still maintaining a spark that keeps her guessing. This creates trust and intrigue simultaneously. She feels safe and excited at the same time, a rare emotional cocktail that fuels desire. Second, maintain an undercurrent of challenge. Emotional and sexual tension should never disappear. This isn't manipulation. It's about creating moments where she is drawn in, moments that awaken curiosity, and moments that remind her that your presence is valuable. When she feels she has to meet you emotionally or mentally, it intensifies the pull. Women are wired to respond to men who can balance approachability with subtle challenge, and mastering this creates a craving that feels irresistible. Third, communication is the bridge between intimacy and desire. Words alone are not enough, but words combined with intention, timing, and energy amplify attraction exponentially. Listen deeply, speak thoughtfully, pause strategically. Let your energy, tone, and presence convey as much as your words. This alignment of mind, body, and emotion is what makes her feel truly connected, yet still yearning for more. Fourth, presence is power. Be fully in the moment with her, yet fully yourself. Maintain independence, purpose, and personal growth. A man who has his own life, yet can fully engage with hers, becomes an anchor and a magnet simultaneously. She doesn't just like being around you, she subconsciously feels that being near you elevates her own emotional and psychological state. Finally, understand the long-term rhythm of attraction. Desire isn't a one-time spark, it's a continuous dance of emotional connection, tension, curiosity, and presence. When mastered, every interaction leaves her thinking about you, imagining possibilities, and craving the next encounter. You don't chase, you cultivate, you don't force. You allow her psychology to meet yours at a place of intense attraction and intimacy. This is the blueprint most men never see, but you now know it. Apply it, embody it, and you'll become a man who not only sparks desire instantly, but sustains it, deepens it, and transforms the way she experiences intimacy with you. When you master this, attraction is no longer a mystery. It becomes your reality.